Gosh, oh yes, where to start? Where to start without being obscene? It's like a pantomime. It's like a sort of adult pantomime. There's an innocent young couple, Brad and Janet, and they're about to get married, and they're very much in love. They're very straight-laced. They're sort of Eisenhower's children, if you like, from the 50s. And their car breaks down on a lonely road in a thunderstorm, and they think they saw a light at the old castle back up the road, and indeed they did. And the castle is, of course, owned by the fabulous alien transvestite Dr. Frankenfurter, who is making a creature, Rocky, and the horror show unfolds from that, and what happens to Brad and Janet as all their inhibitions are broken down by Frank. But I mean, what I was unprepared for, because I saw it when it was just a show, really, when I was at school, you know, a long time ago, when theatres were lit by gas. And it was just a show then. It was trendy and, you know, sexy and everything like that. But on the back of the film, it's become this huge interactive thing. People come dressed up to the nines. A lot of men who I'm sure hold down perfectly normal jobs in huge fishnets and basques and wigs and eye makeup and you know, you think, really, does your wife know you're out? Oh, she does, because there she is sat right next to you, dressed exactly the same. And there are people, you know, on very cold nights, men who just come in leopard skin pants and outrageous yellow wigs. There's an Asian man who comes often, because it has a fan base, and people come again and again and again. And he comes dressed as Janet, the heroine, in a pink dress and a blonde wig. And he sits there very, very seriously in the front row. And then he goes away again at the end. And they come armed with a great many things to shout out. So particularly with my character, I'm the very, very sort of straight-laced Edgar Luskarten type narrator, you know, taking you on a strange journey. And if in the tiny gaps they get right in there with the shout-outs, Chris, the director, kept saying, we're really only rehearsing about 20% of what you're going to do. And on the opening night in Brighton, as you hear them baying like wolves, you think, oh, I see what he meant. So, no, it has to happen in the moment. It happens between you and the audience. You have a certain amount of things that you've got in the back of your mind for what they'll probably shout and what you might come back with, but you try and keep it fresh. I've worked with Chris Luscombe before, the director. We did the Alan Bennett play, The History Boys, and so when he rang up and said, I don't suppose you'd fancy doing the Rocky Horror Show, my initial reaction was so extreme, absolutely not, under no circumstances. I thought, well, maybe the extremity of the response means that I should have a go at it. You know, always do something that's outside your comfort zone, and this is so far outside my comfort zone as to need a passport.
And just finally, do you get to do the time warp in the show, or do you miss out?
I do not. Most certainly I don't miss out. I get to teach you how to do the time warp.
So show us the main bit. This is the...
Well, it's just a jump to the left, and then, you know, and then a step to the right, with your hands on your hips, and then there's the pelvic thrust, which really drives you insane. So let's do the time warp again. That's the minimal version.